Hey, Warrior Saints. Glad to have you beautiful people with us as we continue our conversation from yesterday.
Moving on from there, I think the follow-up to that is because your word is a representation of you, because your word matters and you're working to honor, what are you saying? What are you saying? And how are you actually saying things? And what are you doing with that? I think you need to make sure that you make your words pleasant, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
make your words, and there's a proverb about this that's really beautiful. It says, pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. This idea to me is that like the words that you are saying, like you shouldn't just be filled with vitriol all the time.
Right.
You shouldn't just be looking out, like you said about internet trolls that are just sitting there
Yeah.
behind their computers waiting to catch you up in what you say. And if you're curious what that looks like, look in the comment sections on any of our videos, right? Like they're just watching for some type of slip out, for some type of entry point so that they can spout some of their craziness, some stuff that really just gets all over the place. How do we get beyond that? Right. And I think the idea is or at least a big first step in that is we make our words pleasant.
Yeah, absolutely. You brought up like the internet trolls. I was thinking about like, these are my wild conspiracy theories, but I don't know that I'm wrong. There are some people who comment, and I'll only speak to those who comment on our stuff because it's not, appropriate for me to speak about other people's stuff. Some of the comments are super positive and they're great. And they're even if they disagree, they're arguing the idea with us.
Yeah.
They're not just being, stupid jerks who are like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There are those other comments, which you and I get, people who clearly are not super intelligent and who clearly, don't understand scripture. And then they try to tell us like, you don't know what you're, okay, fine. So there's that kind of like angry, but I think there's another group out there. And I actually am not, here's my conspiracy theory. I'm convinced that there are people out there who are, or they're bots or I don't know, but that are paid to go and create divisive feelings. And they post these angry comments and posts in order to produce that. And what you're saying, I think it's a real thing because I look at some of these comments and I'm like, that's a dumb guy. And then I look at others, I'm like, oh, that's a deliberately divisive guy.
Right.
And so all of that to say, with Proverbs, I rambled, but here's what you're saying about Proverbs, or what Proverbs is saying is like, let your words be pleasant. Why don't you produce and spew pleasantry?
Yeah.
And kindness and love. I mean, why does the first, response have to be from a negative position?
Yeah. And when every first response is from a negative position, our words inside our head are all negative.
Absolutely.
And then that becomes the way that we look outside everywhere, right? So the words that we are using and the way that we are looking at the world shapes what's going on in our heads and those thoughts that are being produced. And then coming out of our words as negative. It's negative in, it's negative out.
Yeah. So
right?
Do you think that, let me ask you this one. Do you think, Deacon Greg, that like if someone's got all this, they're saying all these negative things all the time, that has some kind of, I don't know, forgive the word, but psychological effect on them, which is producing a dark cloud in their own mind?
Probably. It's a system through which they are seeing the world. The language that they use, the language that we think in creates a system that is going to allow us to either just see negativity or not see negativity. Right. And part of our job becomes moving beyond that negativity so that we get to a place of positivity. And it's not like, oh, everything is so great. Everything is so beautiful. The sun is so shining. Like, that's not what I mean by positivity. What I mean by positivity is our default is not everything that's wrong with every situation that we're looking at.
Right.
Right? Our default is that we start from a position where we're finding the good in every situation. And as we continue to train that in ourselves and work towards that, then it changes and shifts how we're able to see the world differently. And then it changes our entire perception on everything. But if everything we infuse ourselves with is negativity and coming from that position of negativity, then our words are never going to be pleasant. We have to be deliberate about breaking that cycle, not just looking at the negativity that's everywhere and letting that be our default way of seeing the world.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, the words that we say produce the thought. That's our argument thus far today.
Yeah.
And if they're always coming from a negative position, then that's what we see it. So, sorry, go for it.
But that's what we were talking about 2 weeks ago with that mind transformation and that whole week that we talked about, transforming your mind and shifting your mind. And we used Paul's letter to the Romans. I don't have it in there anymore, but 12:2, do not be conformed, but transform through the renewal of your mind. You have to do the work to renew your mind. And having this pleasantness and seeking pleasant words, because words matter, allows you to then infuse yourself everywhere.
Yeah. So it's deliberate then.
It has to be.
So I mean, I don't want to sound too silly, but like being positive, having what we call a gratitude attitude and a thankful attitude and a pleasant attitude, all those things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a deliberate decision choice that you have to make.
Yeah, you have to be deliberate about it. You have to be, because nothing's going to just happenstance.
Right.
If you're waiting for everything to happen to you, then all that is going to happen to you is that you're only going to see all the negativity everywhere, because everything around us is designed to pull us into that negativity. Because if you are seeing everything as negative, then you are easier to sell to.
Right.
And because we live in a society that is constantly trying to market and sell us on anything and everything and convince us that we need what they have, it's that everything has to be negative because their way is the only way to get through that negativity.
Yeah, well said.
We need to be deliberate about overcoming that negativity and infusing ourselves with something that is different than the negativity. Infusing our minds with words that are different than the words that we see everywhere out there that are forcing us, pushing us, moving us to the negativity. And we need to be deliberate about what we are infusing our minds with.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think that's, the whole idea of like the way they market through negativity, through fear. You got to have a bad guy or a monster that needs to be overcome. And, hey, my product is going to help you solve that. So let me start with the negativity. I had it's a deliberate choice. I think my mind just got back there. We have to decide that. I mean, some days I wake up and I'm sure our audience does as well as you do. And I feel awesome. It's just going to be a great day by default.
Yeah.
But a lot of days I wake up and I'm like, stressed or overburdened on my schedule, or I didn't sleep well or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sick, I'm angry, all this stuff. And it's going to be a bad day unless I deliberately, I don't want to be silly, but sometimes, I mean, I'm going to just say it. On my drive into the office, when it's one of those days and I can feel it, usually I listen to audiobooks as I'm driving. I want to redeem that time. But some days when I know I'm in a foul mood, I put on one of two songs, Thunderstruck. Because it's just, you can't not be happy with AC/DC's Thunderstruck. The other one that I have started to play a lot, which probably isn't good as a breeze, but Kickstart My Heart, Motley Crue.
It's a fabulous.
I always feel juiced when I listen to that song.
Yeah.
Or I listen to Pharrell's Happy.
I'm going to tell you.
Hey, Warrior Saints. Thank you so much for being with us. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps us get the word out there. And if you want more, visit us at warriorsaints.org and subscribe to Understanding the Bible. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.